Brown's current team, the Patriots, or his former team, the Eagles?
Yeah, I like the fact that he's saying what a great teammate he's been so far. It's been, what, like 15 minutes?
Right.
He just showed up. Hey, he said hello to me. What a nice guy. Yeah, let's see when a few of those passes go somewhere else, whether or not he's reading a book on the sideline. But it's strange for us to have a conversation where one move could actually be the reason that both teams get better. And for Philadelphia, you could argue that there's addition by subtraction, and this was obviously a huge problem between him and the quarterback, and him and whoever else. You know, we don't know all the ins and outs, but it was a major problem. So they moved on from him. They filled the roster with other wide receiver candidates to try to replace him, and what they're banking on is that the chemistry and the cumulative effect of all those guys helps elevate their offense, and that's their angle. And the flip side for New England is he gets to go to a place where he's obviously very familiar with the head coach, and he has that relationship built in. He's going to be the man there. They're coming off success. He wants to be a Patriot. He talked about, how much it means to be a Patriot. I think all those things are very positive as well. It's my initial leaning is New England has the better odds to do it, and it's mixed over the last 5 or 6 years in terms of the success of the team that has lost the Super Bowl. The last two haven't done very well. The last team to repeat, though, or to go and win the Super Bowl after losing it, was New England. So there's a little bit of that track record. And they're better positioned in the division, with Buffalo changing their head coach.
And I think a lot of those teams could be better, but
they're going to be better than they were last year.
I would be surprised if Dallas, Philly, or Washington is as good as Buffalo this year. I think as far, you have New England, the biggest, I just think remove New England and Philly from the best team of their divisional competition, I think will be Buffalo. Now, maybe Dallas takes a big leap. Maybe Washington, they were in a conference championship game a couple years ago. I just think Buffalo's the hardest of the other 6 teams in those 2 divisions combined.
I agree with that, but I agree with Coach in that I would go New England. I don't think either team's going to make the Super Bowl. But of these 2, I would pick New England because it is an easier path. Whether you agree with the division or not, the NFC we know is loaded with a lot of teams. You look at the AFC, Baltimore and Buffalo do have new first-year head coaches. The Chargers, Herbert has done nothing in the playoffs to make us believe in him. Denver doesn't have a great quarterback. Kansas City coming off injury, Mahomes, and they got a lot of new defensive players. And Houston's got questions about their quarterback. So I just think, again, I'm not picking the Patriots, but I think they have an easier route than Philadelphia does in the NFC.
This discussion is hilarious for so many different reasons. For so many different reasons. For so many different reasons. Oh my gosh. This doesn't occur often, but it's been happening a bit more lately where my brain feels like it's about to detonate, because again, I always talk about reasoning, right? I'm always saying reasoning, reasoning, reasoning. Examine the reasoning. Locate the reasoning. Deconstruct the reasoning. That's how I approach opinions. It's not just you're wrong. It's find the reasoning. Find the reasoning. And we're going to do that. I'm buying myself some time to try to think about it for a moment. So before we jump into it, Philadelphia Eagles fans, please, please, please do not forget to subscribe and watch the full-length version of the video. When you do that, viewership numbers go through the roof, subscriber counts go through the roof, and it's not about chasing views. It's not about chasing subscribers. It's about being able to create Philadelphia Eagles content that people genuinely want to watch and discuss so we can continue having the most impartial, grounded, honest conversations about the Eagles. It makes such a huge difference to watch the full-length video, and I would really, really appreciate it. So, okay. Do you hear some of the justifications they're making about the Ravens and the Bills and the Chargers and this and that? It's just so crazy because doesn't that make it an even more remarkable accomplishment than what Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles did in 2022 and 2024, for sure? And it also then explains how things unfolded in 2025. And then also, shouldn't we operate with and extend that benefit of the doubt to Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles in 2026? Do you see the benefit of the doubt that's already being extended to, say, Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. And then Bruce even says, well, what have we seen Justin Herbert do in the playoffs? No reason to trust him. What did Drake May do in the playoffs to give any reason to trust him? What has Jalen Hurts done in the playoffs? Oh, been historically great. Okay. I didn't know that. It's so tricky for me to try to keep track of all these big numbers. I don't know. You know what a completion percentage is? EPA? It's just hilarious to me. And then JMAC is going to say, well, there's a track record for the Patriots with May and Vrabel there. What are you talking about? Don't ever use a Tom Brady statistic to mean anything. To mean anything? What are you talking about? Is it Bill Belichick and Tom Brady? Yes or no? No. Why don't we actually use a reference point for the team that is actually still there? That's Jalen Hurts, right? We've actually seen it. You want to go back down memory lane? Let's go as far back as, I don't know, 2023 and 2024, where in 2023 things were a bit disconnected, some injuries, not as strong of a team as you would like, some coaching issues, aim up short. Then the next year won the Super Bowl. Now we're at 2025, things a bit disconnected, injuries, roster not as strong as you would want it to be, some coaching issues, and now let's see what happens with 2026. If you want to say there's some sort of precedent there, if anything, you should look to the team that's actually in the process of doing it rather than referencing something that happened a million years ago with Tom Brady. Also, who did you lose to? Was it the Philadelphia Eagles? Was it, let me do the math. Was that the Nick Foles Super Bowl? Tom Brady. Okay, so maybe we should place some weight on the actual franchise. The franchise that has shown the ability to build multiple Super Bowl winning teams with multiple Super Bowl winning quarterbacks. We're going to use the franchise that has only done it with one? Weird, right? Weird. Now, again, I want to be very, very clear. I do not believe in predicting Super Bowls. I don't even really inherently believe in a conversation like this. I'll engage in it. I'll have fun with it. I think it's interesting. We can have this type of conversation very loosely. I cringe when I hear Bruce say, I don't think either of these teams are making the Super Bowl. And I think, what are you basing that on right now? Seriously, what are we basing that on? What are we basing that on? Caleb Williams had an awesome team. Could not, I think he threw more interceptions than touchdowns in the playoffs. And yet we have the Eagles as an actual reference point. We've actually seen Jalen Hurts and the Eagles compete year after year after year in a way that we have not seen the Rams. We've not seen the Bears. We've not seen the Packers. We've not seen the Lions. We've not seen the Seahawks. We've not seen the Bills, the Ravens, the Bengals. We've seen the Eagles in this immediate era of the NFL. There have really only been two teams that have consistently competed at the highest level. That was the Eagles and the Chiefs. So if we want to use the past as a reference point, which they all love to do, why do you always want to erase the Eagles from the past? How does that make sense? Oh, it doesn't. Got it. That's the reasoning I talk about. That's the reasoning I talk about. Now, again, I want to be very clear. I'm not saying, well, the Eagles are such a well-rounded team. They're great. How dare you? Like, of course they're going to get to the Super Bowl over the Patriots. That's not really my take either. It's really not, because I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, all the people doubting the Eagles, they're going to come back. Just wait. I'm not saying that. That's not my take. It's not my take at all. It's really not. But we're like, well, new offense for Lamar. Oh no, new offense for Lamar. I thought Lamar was the greatest quarterback ever. Thought he was top 5 all time. Shouldn't he be able to figure it out just like that? Shouldn't he be able to bounce back like that? What are we talking about? Out here? I thought Patrick Mahomes is the greatest quarterback except for Tom Brady, depending on who you ask. Some say he's better than Tom Brady. Shouldn't he be great? He's got Kenneth Walker now. Rassie Rice shouldn't be suspended. Xavier Worthy has bulked up. Eric Bieniemy, baby. Eric Bieniemy is back. So he should be great. He should be spectacular. He should be amazing. Oh, but he's coming back from an ACL. I thought he was Superman. I thought he has healing abilities like we've never seen before. I thought he was literally Wolverine. Oh, now we want to talk about that. Oh, now we want to, okay. 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 I got it. I got it. Even Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, you all know that I think Josh Allen is the bee's knees. You know that. But to be able to so effortlessly say, oh, I think the Bills are clearly going to be better than the Eagles, blah blah, yes. Do I think the Bills are going to be a more difficult team for the Patriots to have to go through than what the Eagles would have to face? For sure. I think that's an objectively true statement. But the reality is that the way the Eagles have played, especially against the Chiefs, the Eagles have been able to beat the Chiefs in a way that the Bills have simply never been able to do, really any team for that matter that the Eagles have. And to be able to play them in multiple ways. And when you see what the Eagles have been able to accomplish and how they've been able to accomplish it, this is what I'm getting at. I think this is true. I think this is true. And when I say think, I don't mean oh, I think, I'm not sure. I know it to be true. We look at these teams. I think again, whatever cutoff point we want to start, I don't really know. But we know for the most part we've been living in this football era where it's Patrick, Lamar, Burrow, right? And it's the Ravens, it's the Bills, it's the Chiefs. We know that. And when the Bengals are healthy, the Bengals are always the hardest to insert there because, you know, they're the Bengals. But that's what we feel, right? That's what we feel in our core. Those teams, those quarterbacks, we know every year they're going to be competitive. They're going to be great. They're going to be special, they're going to be dangerous. And people would want to insert the Rams into that conversation as well, but because they tried to mortgage their future to win now, they have some weird stretches or whatever, or they also had Stafford getting injured, they had some injuries that poked a hole in that. But I think people would even add the Rams as well. Just look at the conversation they had about the Rams all last year and now look at the moves the Rams have made this year. And for whatever reason, the actual team that has actually gone to multiple Super Bowls, that has actually taken down the Kansas City Chiefs, that has actually outplayed Patrick Mahomes, that has actually won the Super Bowl, that has actually done these things, and again, had to go through the Kansas City Chiefs, mind you, something the Bills and the Ravens have fundamentally failed to do, we somehow put the Eagles in a separate category. They're somehow the most stacked team under the sun, but then we don't really respect them at their level of accomplishment. I think it's objectively true that people will say over the last 7 years, 8 years, or so, the Rams have been better. The Bills have been better. The Ravens have been, yeah, they won the Super Bowl, but, yeah, right. Even just like that. Jalen Hurts has a Super Bowl, but Lamar, I think that's how people feel. I just know that even after that Super Bowl win, going through the season when Colin was talking about the Rams, he pretty much mapped out that the Eagles were fortunate to even beat the Rams, that if it wasn't for a rookie left tackle, I forget how he phrased it, he said they would have won the Super Bowl, and it was like, they didn't even get out of the divisional round. What are we talking about here? Are you serious right now? Remember Colin said the Eagles weren't even going to get past the 50-yard line or something, I forget, they wouldn't even get into the red zone or something. It was hard to keep up. Hard to keep up. And yet we don't do that. When the Chiefs won in say 2023 or 2022, there was no yeah, but. There was no well, if the Ravens just knew how to actually have a game plan in the AFC Championship game, they would have been the Super Bowl winners. Or if it wasn't for Hat muffed punt and fumble and Greenlaw injury, then the 49ers win the Super Bowl. They don't do that for them. I'll talk about those things because I talk about everything. But with the Eagles, it's always, well, they won because Saquon Barkley was historically great that year. Okay, yeah, isn't that a good thing? Well, yeah, they won because that defense was so great. Yeah, is that somehow separate from the Eagles? Well, they only won because Jalen Hurts was able to play really great on a great team. I don't know what we're doing here right now. Well, they only won because they were better than the team they beat. This is starting to get weirder. Am I in an obsession right now? Or like backrooms? What's actually happening? The Eagles only won because they were better than the teams they faced. I'm starting to feel weird in here right now. They don't know how to have the conversations. People will say in 2024, for instance, look no further than this, people will say the Bills were better than the Eagles. And yet the Bills lost to the Chiefs. We saw that game, the AFC Championship game, and then we saw what the Eagles did against that very same team. It wasn't even remotely close. Obviously, it's one of the most dominant wins in Super Bowl history against the GOAT. It just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense to me. None of it. Think about how much they rip Nick Sirianni as a coach and the dysfunction. I mean, I'm not going to say it, I'll let you guys say it. But are we serious right now? Like, are we serious? Like, really? Okay. Again, man, look for the reasoning. Look for the reasoning. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you all think about the Philadelphia Eagles? What do you think, who's more likely to reach the Super Bowl, the Eagles or the Patriots? Dare I say the team that actually won the Super Bowl within the last couple of years? The team that has actually proven to be able to get to multiple Super Bowls in the previous years? I don't know. I know, silly me. But let me know your thoughts. I read every single comment. Whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get into some discussions. Let's get into some debates. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. Please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up as it really does help with visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.